All right, all right. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome. If you're here live, give me a quick thumbs up. Okay, I see a raised hand. Give me a quick hello, like you can hear me, you can see me, okay. Or just in the chat, comment that you can see me, okay. Just want to make sure everything looks good on my end, so we'll kind of jump right in. Uh, yes, Caitlin, hello. Okay, good. So you can hear me and you can see me. Thank you, Caitlin. Rockstar. All right, gang. Let's get to work. Just want to make sure everything looked like it was up and running on my end. So let's get to work. I like punctuality, so let's get started. Welcome in, everyone. I am Dr. Ray Benedetto. If you do not know me, welcome. If this is the first time you're ever hearing me, welcome. What we are going to talk about today is the secret. It shouldn't be a secret, but it kind of is, right? In the medical world, it might as well be a secret because they don't tell you this, partially because they don't know this. But we're going to talk about the secret to relief, symptom relief, and remission, which is the ultimate goal from Hashimoto's autoimmune thyroiditis, and how you can get there in 90 days or less. Ditch your doctor, right? Who's probably been dismissing you the whole time anyway, or gaslighting you, as we like to say. How to figure out your root causes, and how to implement a personalized treatment protocol for your Hashimoto's. Okay. Now, right as we get started, stick around. I got some cool stuff at the end. We're going to do a couple things towards the end. You'll have a chance to help kind of investigate your Hashimoto's and potentially get some treatment recommendations from myself if I can help you. And we're going to have Q&A. So stick around. We're going to have Q&A. I will stay as long as we need to and answer as many questions as I need to until everyone is exhausted all their questions and we're done, and we'll call it a night. All right. Now, for the next 30 to 45 minutes, I promise you I am not going to hammer you with testimonials and pitches and all this nonsense. But close out the social medias, put the phone down, focus, pay attention to what we're going to be talking about today. It could be life-changing for some of you. Super quick. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Ray Benedetto. My wife has Hashimoto's. That's why we're having this conversation today. That's why I'm here today. 12 years ago, we diagnosed her. It is now the mission, if you will, or the ministry of my practice is helping as many patients that have Hashimoto's. We live it. I've spent the last 10, 12 years helping my patients exclusively with Hashimoto's, helping them find out their root causes and put plans in place to get them well. I practice here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, my brick and mortar, which I sit in right now. But I work virtually, obviously, with people all over the country. Okay, I'll give you a couple of quick testimonials. Only because I use these because they kind of encapsulate what I'm trying to do with my patients, right? So Lily here was like, this is the most sane form of medicine I've ever seen anywhere, right? Because it feels like insane medicine in the medical world, right? Getting the root cause, fixing stuff. That's the goal, right? Thorough testing, figure out what's going on. Should have started this years ago. It's all right. We're here today. Took meds for years, no results, right? This sounds familiar. The only doctor that got to the root cause. It's the only way to do it, gang. Got to get to the root. We got to fix it. And a bunch of other stuff. Now, let's get right to work. Why are we here? The what, right? What is the problem? The problem is you have Hashimoto's, or you think you might have Hashimoto's, or well, that's only the one of the two you could have. You have a thyroid problem and you've never heard of Hashimoto's until now. There you go. There's another one. So you have Hashimoto's, and no doubt by the time you've gotten here to me or watching this right now, you've you've done things, right? You're taking your thyroid meds. It's not helping. You've tried things like low dose naltrexone. Maybe it's helping a little bit, but it's not fixing the problem. You've been on bazillion doctor's visits. You've seen multiple dozens of doctors, right? They're not helping. You've done programs or you've seen the programs that are out there, which are, eight, $10,000 and months and years on end. It's crazy. And it's cookie cutter a lot of times. You've tried exercise to lose the weight. You've tried different supplements. You've tried different diets. It's not moving the needle, right? So here's the thing. Before you got to today, and this is always the case, right? There are always circumstances that are beyond our control, which lead to thoughts that we tell ourselves, right? So here's my circumstances, and this leads to these thoughts, and this is what I tell myself, right? Those thoughts are going to lead to feelings, they're emotions that we feel, right? This is how our brain works, gang. And those feelings are going to lead to actions. It's like, oh, I feel like this, so I'm going to do this, right? That's the plan that you follow. And that's going to give you results, treatment results in this particular case, or results with your Hashimoto's, which those are the effects of our actions. So what do we want to have happen today, right? So here's the transition that I want to see happen today and everybody who's watching this. You're probably coming today, many of you, and the thoughts are, I'm being told over and over again my blood tests are normal, so why am I not getting better? Right? Whether I'm already diagnosed with a thyroid problem or I'm not. So I'm either not on medication or I am. I go and they tell me my levels are in range and I'm normal, so there's nothing wrong. So why am I not getting better? And that's going to lead to feelings of confusion, frustration, overwhelm, right? Because you're like, there's something has to be wrong. Like something's got to be going on. Like I'm not making this up, right? So you get super confused, right? And super frustrated. I get it. I would too. And that's going to lead to actions, which are going to be like, all right, well, I'm not getting any help from my doctor because they tell me I'm normal, but I'm not. I feel like garbage. So what do I got to do? I'm going to go try this on my own. I got to figure this out, right? So what do? You consume information, and it's very overwhelming. It's crazy out there in internet land and social media land, and that's going to lead to what? Results. The actions you're taking are lead to results of no results. I feel worse. I don't know where to go. Like things are, I don't even know where to start, right? So my goal when we're done today is to provide some clarity, some confidence to know the answers to these things, and then the expertise to apply it. Okay. And if you need my help doing that, we can do that. So the thoughts I want you thinking by the time we're done is, oh, okay. Now I know why I'm not getting better and I know what to do about it. Just because of everything we're going to cover today, which is going to lead to feelings of optimism, relief, and clarity, right? Like, all right, okay, now I feel better about this because I have clarity on what's the problem and what to do about it. And I can take a deep breath. And it's like, oh gosh, that's a weight off my shoulders, right? Which is going to then lead to actions. If you want to partner with me, great. But at least you're going to be able to find someone who can help you and know what to do. If you want that to be me, that's great. Figure out your root causes and how to fix them, which is going to lead to results, which is going to be relief from my symptoms and a clear runway into the future on how to get to remission. All right. So let's dive in on this and how we do it. Okay. Now, here's what everyone here is probably looking for, and here's what anyone with Hashimoto's needs is a personalized plan. Okay. And some of you watching this may have even seen this. I love this triangle. I put it together. It perfectly encapsulates what we're going to talk about today. Okay. It summarizes. There are three problems that my Hashimoto's patients come to me with. Number one is on the medical side of things, or prior to getting to me, they've gotten no help. My doctor is just looking at my blood work. They're looking at usually one or two markers, and that's it. They're not helping me. They're not digging deep on me. They're not looking at root causes. They're not doing all that kind of stuff. So by the time you're done today, you are going to be able to find a doctor. That'll be me. But if you want, if not me, then I'll try and point you in the direction of someone else who is focused on treating you and not your blood work. Okay. And there's a process I take my patients through, and we're going to break all this down today in a case study. Okay. A, what has been, what's the timeline? What's your history? Tell me everything about you. Like, I need to know you. Okay. From when this started till to the day we met. What has been your previous healthcare prescription? Because it's probably been garbage, unfortunately. Sorry, pardon my French. So we got to fix those holes. We got holes in the bucket. We got to fix those medical failures. And then we need a new path forward, right? We need to top to bottom. I have assessments and things that I do with patients. that we need to top to bottom scorecard your immune system, your thyroid, your symptoms, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So it's a very comprehensive evaluation history workup on the front end. Okay. I call that my Benedetto bedside manner. I like things that rhyme. My name happens to rhyme with bedside, and there is and there is no bedside manner in medicine anymore, unfortunately. So we're here to change that, right? So that's going to give us that's going to help us to identify, okay, what do we need to do moving forward on a personal care plan? Step two, problem number two. I don't know what my root causes are. I know this root cause thing. I got to figure out what's causing my autoimmunity, what's causing my immune system to attack me. I don't know what they are. I don't even know where to start. Okay. So by the time someone's done working with me, well, guess what? We're going to figure those out. We're going to know those. Okay. I primarily use another three-step process. Number one is a genetic health profile. Nobody does this, but there are underlying genetic mutations. Most of you have heard of something like an MTHFR mutation, for example. Huge. There's 200 or so other genes that I want to look at with my patients. Those of you who are on here right now watching this, or my patients, you're nodding your head going, yeah, found out some juicy stuff there that we had to fix that I couldn't have got better without digging in on. I love the Dutch test. Most of you have heard me talk about DNA and Dutch. I do them on pretty much everybody. And sprinkle in some other tests depending on the individual. That's going to depend on what each person needs. Dutch test is great because it's three tests in one. It's complete hormones, sex hormones, adrenal hormones. So it's three parts: sex hormones, adrenal hormones, and then there's a third part to the test called organic acids, which looks at like nutritional deficiencies, neurotransmitter imbalances, um, oxidative stress markers, mitochondrial stuff. Really cool. And then blood work, right? The problem is twofold. Most in the medical world, they do very superficial testing. We need to do more complete blood testing. Whatever we can find on blood, let's do it. It's quick and easy. More complete blood testing, and we look at it through a different lens. They're looking at these giant pathological ranges. We want to look at them at optimal ranges. Okay. So we do all this on the front end, right? We run these tests right away. Okay. After step one, after the bedside manner, we need some root cause clarity. What tests do we need to run? Let's get them done. Let's get them done now because they might take time to get the results back too, right? So then we move on to the third part of the triangle, which is I know I need lifestyle stuff. I know I need a diet work. I know I need supplements. I know I need help with sleep and stress and all this kind of stuff. But I don't know where to start, right? So my goal of my patients is, okay, listen, when we're done, you're going to know exactly what foods to eat and what supplements you might need to take. And we're not going to just continue throwing stuff against the wall and hope it sticks. Okay. We need to figure out someone's foods. We need to figure out their supplements, which I'll prescribe based on their testing. And then we need to personalize a plan for them, right? So we need to strip everything down. We need to do dietary eliminations, those kinds of things. We need to go in and heal stuff, heal the gut, decrease inflammation, um, heal the gut. I mentioned that one already, right? Gigantic, huge. Detoxify the body, those kinds of things. So we use some personalized targeted supplementation for that. That's going to put us on the healing path. That Hashimoto's healing path is what I call it. Okay. And that goal for that first, right out of the chute, is symptom relief. All right. So symptom relief with a Hashimoto's healing path and a personalized AIP protocol while we're investigating additional root causes after we've done the workup. Okay. We call this 90 days. I want this done in the first 90 days. Okay. Let's show you how this works in action with a case study. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down like every leg of that triangle, show you how it works in action. Okay. I use this one all the time. This is like a classic case. Okay. This was Margaret, 62 years old. She got to me. This was the deal, right? And this is going to sound really familiar to you guys, right? Weight that won't budge. I don't know where it came from. Mood stuff. She had depression specifically. I'm fatigued all the time. I got all kinds of digestive problems, cravings out the wazoo. I'm taking my meds. Like I've been diagnosed as hypothyroid. I'm taking my meds. I'm not getting anywhere. Okay. My symptoms aren't improved. They're telling me my levels are normal. Nothing's happening. Okay. So what did we do? We ran her through the first leg of the triangle. This is what's supposed to be done in medicine when you meet with when I meet with a new patient, like we got to start with this. I don't care what your problem is, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter. So step one, let's look at previous blood work. Hey, show me your, let's look at your most previous labs or your last year or two of labs. Anybody, again, who's met with me or is a patient of mine watching this right now, this is what we do, right? Many times we find diagnoses that have been swept under the rug or been dismissed, or things that are root causes that have already been identified, but they've never been addressed. Vitamin D deficiencies, ferritin deficiencies, Epstein-Barr virus, chronic infections, I mean, that kind of stuff. It's easy to find. It's either never been looked for, or if it's been identified, it's been ignored, right? And then, okay, well, here's what you've had done in the last month, year or so. Here's what I'd like to see in addition to that. Let's fill in some blanks, right? Blood work wise. And then we need to look at like, okay, well, how are your symptoms? How is your problem affecting your quality of life? We need to measure those things. We need baseline assessments. So that way, a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, we have something to monitor and something to check back on and compare and score, right? To see, yes, I'm feeling better. Okay, look how this is affecting and improving your life as well. So in this particular case, Margaret had not been diagnosed with Hashimoto's. That's the problem. So I'm like, okay, we got to run these tests. There it is. Boom. Thyroid antibodies. There's two of them. Thyroid peroxidase, 16. Anything over 9 is considered positive. All right. Now we got something to go on. Okay. You can see this one's almost 10 years ago. Now we got something to work on. You have Hashimoto's. Let's get to work. Now I had to explain what that was because she didn't know. And because, her medical doctor was no help. So I had to kind of, okay, well, here's what we got now, and here's what we got to do. All right. So accurate diagnosis. Now, things that get swept under the rug, right? This was a different patient, but this happens all the time. Okay. This particular individual had had these tests run. She shared all of her labs with me for like 7 years. This was 2023. I think it started in like 18, 17 or 18. These tests were run all the time. Parietal cell antibodies. Parietal cells are in your stomach. They produce HCl. They produce something called, which is hydrochloric acid. So for digestion, if you're not making HCl, you're not, we're off from the word go on gut function. And something called intrinsic factor, which helps with B12 absorption. So now you're not absorbing vitamins, especially crucial ones like B12. Autoimmune attacks on the parietal cells. Autoimmune attacks on smooth muscle, anti-smooth muscle antibodies, elevated. Smooth muscle is the type of muscle that lines your organs. Skeletal muscle moves your bones. Smooth muscle moves your organs. Okay, and lines your organs. Autoimmune attacks, smooth muscle. For years, ANA, smooth muscle again. You guys have seen ANAs before. She showed me years of these tests. They were like this, elevated all the time, every single time for years, 6 and 7 years. Nothing. Why is the doctor checking these labs and these levels if they're not going to do anything about it? They weren't. Have to fix this stuff, right? C-reactive protein. This was back to Margaret. C-reactive protein. 42, gang. 42. Look at the right below it, the relative risk for future cardiac events. Anything over 3 is high. They use this for cardiovascular risk assessment. But inflammation is inflammation. It's not just in your cardiovascular system, it's everywhere. Right? So there's inflammation all over your body. 42, gang. Anything over 3 is considered significantly elevated. This has to be fixed. Iron low, ferritin low. These are easy, low-hanging fruit things that we can fix on someone that is contributing as an underlying cause to their autoimmunity. And then again, we use assessments, all kinds of assessments and stuff how are your symptoms? Oh, what happened there? Oh, how are your symptoms affecting your quality of life? Sorry, now moving on to step two. I'm clicking too fast. Now moving on to step two, root cause clarity, right? We have to fit. So we're now in that other second leg of the triangle. DNA profiles. I have my patients do ancestry.com. We'll explain in a minute why. Dutch Complete looks at hormones, looks at adrenals, looks at all kinds of other stuff that we can find on one test. And then labs. Let's look at your labs in a different lens. Let's run additional labs, blood work that's quick and easy to do that you've never had run that'll help us find more. Okay, we have to do these things in the beginning. Again, it's like two parallel tracks. Like we got to do this even before we get results back, we start treatment on that third leg. I recommend ancestry.com. Here's why. Yes, it'll give you your ancestry information. Like what's your family tree look like? Ancestry, like this kind of testing is a quick, easy way to get someone's genetic data. It's a $99 test. It's on sale half the year anyway, but it's a $99 test at worst. And for 99 bucks, we can get all of someone's genetic data. You cannot get someone's genetic data in a file any cheaper than that anywhere else. Now, you have to know what to do with that data, which I do. So I have my patients do an ancestry. I say, okay, when the results are ready, let me know. I'll show you how to go into your account, download your data, send me the file, and I'll analyze it. Okay. And filter out 99.9% of what we don't need and look at the 0.1% that we do need, which is medically relevant genetics, MTHFR, methylation, detox, oxidative stress markers, you name it. Okay. So then we could take that data and I could put it in a chart, for example. Here's like an example. I used MTHFR because everyone's familiar with that one. And it's like, okay, let's see what we got going on with all these different genetics and how they could be affecting your health in general, as i.e., contributing to the underlying autoimmune problem, Hashimoto's, or causing symptoms all on their own. That's why I have patients do ancestry. We just need the data. I can analyze the data from there and know what to do with it. We just need a quick, easy way, a cheap way to get the data. Dutch test. I love the Dutch test. Most of you who have heard me do this before or give these talks, like you know it. Here's a sample of the Dutch test. Super cool. So it's broken down into three parts: hormones, adrenals, organic acids. Here's the cool thing. So you'll see a sample here of like the hormone part. It looks at the whole pathway. It's not just like a blood test, a snapshot in time measuring the levels of hormones. This test looks at from start to finish, from A to Z. How are you making these hormones? How are you metabolizing these hormones, right? Like what are the levels? And then how are you using them? And then how are you getting rid of them? Like how's your body reducing them, right? And eliminating them. So you can see, look, it's a flow chart. We look at all these different markers on your hormones, not just what's your estrogen, what's your progesterone, what's your testosterone. Same thing with the adrenals, right? Over here on the left. We look at what's your cortisol production look like? What's your DHEA production look like? What are your patterns? What are your rhythms throughout the day? What's your melatonin? So what are all your hormones looking like? And then the third part of the test over here on the right, these are organic acids, B12, B6, biotin, glutathione, gut, neurotransmitters, oxidative stress, right? Like cellular inflammatory markers. We get all this on one test, which is really cool because we can drill down now on what might be some imbalances going on, again, contributing to symptoms and or contributing to the underlying autoimmunity. And then we take the blood work and we look at it in functional ranges, right? So we want to tighten up these ranges. For example, like TSH, optimal range is between 1 and 2 on most people. You guys have seen TSH on your blood work before. The range is on the blood work is zero point 0.5 to 5 usually, or 4.5. Gigantic ranges, not optimal. So we tighten these things up and I can analyze and pick things out that may be problematic or that may become problematic. Again, there'll be other tests that I want to run that people even haven't had done before because they haven't had comprehensive enough panels. So that takes care of the root cause clarity side of the triangle. Now we're moving on to number three. right? How do we get on that path? How do we get started? Okay. We got to figure out someone's food, what aligns with them, what foods align with them. We have to eliminate them initially. So we do an elimination diet, not forever, but we got to do it initially. And then over time, we're going to reintroduce foods to figure out which ones are an issue for them, they may have reactions to, and build a sustainable plan for them. Okay. We need to use some initial supplementation to decrease systemic inflammation. Huge. I gave a talk. Many of you may have been there today, but I gave a talk inside the Facebook group, my Hashimoto's Facebook group today, and this is what I talked about. Like, what's the hierarchy? What are the things we need to do? Right? We have to decrease inflammation. We have to get the immune system to chill out. We got to fix the gut. We have to detoxify the body and the liver and the cells. Right? We have to do those things right away, even while we're testing sometimes. Right? And then we're going to individualize the plan along the way based on test results and food reintroductions and response to each individual patient and all that kind of stuff. I talk fast. I apologize. Some of you might be drinking from the fire hose right now. And I know you've never heard this from any other doctor ever, probably, but definitely not your medical doctor. So don't worry. That's why everybody who registers for this, I tell them, I'll give you the recording. Don't worry. You can go back and watch it. So we got to figure out, what do we eat, right? So in the beginning, we do an elimination diet for a period of time, usually 4 to 6 weeks. But then we need to reintroduce food so we can figure out where we're going to end up, right? Long term. What supplements to take? We start out with a basic protocol that's going to include all of those things that we talked about: anti-inflammatories, thyroid support, immune support, gut health. I have kind of a protocol I lay out for my patients. And then, but then long term, a lot of times it's like, okay, well, what might I need to stay on? Okay. And that's going to be dictated by testing. And we got to get people detoxed. Right? We have to, it's, it's crucial. It's crucial. So here's what happens, right? We go through that process and we get usually about 3 months down the road, maybe longer sometimes. It depends on how someone progresses. But we get about 3 months down the road. That's why I call it 90 days to Hashimoto's healing. That's on average. And it's like, man, I was in this dark, that's why I love this picture. It's like I was in this like root cellar, like underground. This door was closed, and I'm like, I'm dying here. And it's like, oh, door gets swung open. Now I can walk out into the light and I know what to do. And I know how to keep myself healthy. That is what we do. That is how to get Hashimoto's handled. So what happened? So we ran through this protocol with Margaret. And again, this was years ago. I wasn't even doing it as good as I'm doing it now. I like to think I'm getting better as I get more experience. I guess that's what we want, right? So look, we went through this process with Margaret. She was down 20 plus pounds. It was at least 20 pounds. Literally, depression was gone. Like, I feel like a new person. Fatigue gone. Like, holy crow. I didn't realize how fatigued I was. Digestion, perfect. Like, I forgot what digesting food looked like. Cravings gone. Was she still on her thyroid meds? Yeah. She's gonna need to stay on her thyroid meds. She had been on them a long time before she got to me, and that's because her her thyroid had already stopped making enough of the hormones on its own, you know. So it was gonna be kind of hard to because she's gonna have to stay on them because she can't make them. Like, her body's not gonna make them on her own because of the damage done to her thyroid from the Hashimoto's. But now they're working, right? Her physiology's fixed. She's able to um utilize the hormones, convert the hormones, absorb the hormones, get them into the cells, all that fun stuff. Right. And this happens all the time. This happens day in and day out for a long time now with my patients because we've got to go through this process. I love this testimonial. I usually like finish with this one because this Chris, obviously, she's a riot. She's been coming to us forever. And you'll see when I read this to you. She had two of them, right? So she got diagnosed Hashimoto's sarcoidosis. No help, right? Honestly, no idea what either were before I heard about them. Medical doctors offered nothing. Is there a cure? No, there's no cure for autoimmune disease. Remission is the goal. But lifestyle, everything we talked about today can manage it. So she followed a protocol. She dropped 40 pounds. You can see this was back in 2019, 2020. Down 40 pounds, hopping out of bed, no more joint pain, no more back pain, working out again. My favorite part is the last one. I started some weights again. She said there are whispers at work. You have to know Chris. She's a kick. Whispers at work that they thought she had bypass surgery. Now this was before, all the GLP-1 stuff, which, it's kind of like the new bypass surgery, but whispers at work, they thought she had bypass surgery. She was like, "No, I didn't." Um, is it easy? No. Is it doable? Yes, right? Very manageable and very doable if you want it and you put in the work and you get it done. She said, "I'll see you again. Just ask me at 50 pounds of weight loss." So she did great. Again, she's a classic case. She's a riot. I use her as a lot because you guys all have to meet her. I should bring her in for like a guest appearance or something like that. So what's next? We're going to do Q&A. Hopefully I didn't blow through this too fast today and everyone kind of got a handle on what I'm saying. But I don't want to, I don't, when I do these workshops, and you guys have sat through workshops and webinars before, I get it. I have too. It's like 90 minutes and they go on and on and on. And it's like, where's the meat and the potatoes? Quit with the testimonials, quit with the pitching. I don't do that. So I want to just like, look, here's the meat and potatoes. Here's what here's what you came for. And then anyone who does register, even though it's free to register, still got to register because I want people who actually want to know this information. Um, if you're here live, great. If you're not, a lot of people sign up. I get it just to get the replay. You'll get the replay, so you can go back and watch this. But we're gonna do Q&A. And if you're still here, I got a cool little treat for you. Is that if you want to go through this process, let's do it. So a special, cool little bonus for anybody who's here. Again, I charge for these for this the case reviews, like a in-depth case review, like everything we talked about today. I charge for it, of course. There's a fee involved to go through that, which is $397. If you want it today and you're here and you want that, 97 bucks. You can scan the QR code. Do not try and click on the screen of for the URL there. It's not a clickable screen. So open up another browser and put go.drraybenedetto.com/Hashimoto's case review, and you can sign up for one. Um, and we can do this for you. All right. So, all right, let's get to Q&A. Whoever's here now live, I know you got questions. Usually only takes one to get the ball rolling, and then they come flying in. I will stay. I'm here to answer your questions and help you with anything we talked about tonight or any questions you have in general um, about Hashimoto's, about anything we touched on. If you want to, you can raise your hand. You can. There's a couple different ways. So you can, if you're looking on your screen, like your Zoom screen, at the bottom there's a tray, right? It's like video, audio, all that kind of stuff. There's one that says raise your hand. So if you want to raise your hand, I can then just unmute you. You could turn on your camera, turn on your microphone. You don't have to turn on your camera if you don't want to, but I can unmute you. You can ask a question, and I will answer it to the best of my ability. Also, there is a button down there that says Q&A, if you see that. And you can just type in a question, or you can put it in a chat. You can put it anywhere. Okay. Um, I will answer it. So if you don't want to like be on screen or raise your hand or have to talk or anything like that, put it in the Q&A and or the chat, and I will get to it. And when we're done, we're done. If we have a lot of questions, I will stay. If we have no questions, we'll be done. But the presentation portion, the workshop is over. And now I'm here for you guys for whatever you need for Q&A. So if you have questions, you have concerns, you want direction, you want answers specifically for you, whatever you need, ask away. All right. We got one. All right. Someone's got to break the ice, Amy. Nice work. It's always what happens. Everyone's like hesitant, 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 and then bang, the questions come flying in. So Amy says, question is in the Q&A section, Does Epstein-Barr cause Hashimoto's? Great question. And I get this a lot because there's a famous book out there that someone wrote that says that Epstein-Barr is the root of all evil and it's the only cause of Hashimoto's. So Epstein-Barr virus, yes, is a very common root cause of Hashimoto's. Is it the only one for most people? No. It's not a one cause, one cure thing. Is it a very common one? Absolutely. Epstein-Barr is under the cat. So I have like categories of root causes, if you will. Foods, infections, you know, nutrient deficiencies and hormone imbalances and adrenal stuff. And so under the category of chronic infections, Epstein-Barr virus is a very common one. Lyme disease, now the new kid on the block, COVID, right? All these, it could be lots of herpes viruses, chronic infections, very common. And yes, we need to check for these. So that's kind of like part of the blood work, the functional blood work that I talked about that no one, like that other doctors don't do. Check patients for these things. If we find it, it needs to be dealt with. I use homeopathic protocols to deal with individual infectious agents, of which Epstein-Barr virus would be one. So the long-winded answer to your question, Amy, is it a very common underlying cause? Yes. Does it need to be looked for and dealt with? Yes. Is it the only singular root cause for most people? No. So if that helps. Eileen up next. Oh, I love these questions too. How much hope is there for someone like me who had their thyroid radiated as treatment back in the early 70s? I will tell you that there is always hope. So there is never a lost cause. Okay. I get people in their 90s that have like, man, I've had this thing forever, and we can get them healed up. We can get them better. Now, I'm assuming you had radioactive iodine back in the 70s. They nuked your thyroid, it's gone. Now, they would usually do that because of Graves' disease, which is also autoimmune. That's autoimmune hyperthyroid, which is less common than autoimmune hypo thyroid, which we'd call Hashimoto's. Um, but even when the thyroid's taken out, like a thyroidectomy, it's nuked with radioactive iodine, the underlying autoimmunity still exists, right? So taking out the target tissue doesn't stop the immune system from attacking the person. It just usually will look for a different target. So again, my long-winded answer to your question, which those of you who know me already or have seen these before, and those of you who are just meeting me for the first time are learning, I like long-winded answers. But I like to give you guys the why behind things. Um, the short answer is there is hope. There's always hope for relief because we can do it in months to weeks to months, maybe a year, right? But it doesn't take forever to figure this stuff out and get it fixed. So the short answer to your question, Eileen, is there's definitely hope. There's always hope. Caitlin, all right. Caitlin slash Charles. Do you find there to be a big difference between the traditional Western diet and a whole foods plant-based diet? Oh my gosh, yeah. So you guys all know, right? You guys have all heard of the SAD diet, the standard American diet, right? It's full of inflammatory foods. It's full of processed foods. It's full of grains and dairy and stuff that's killing us. Yes, huge difference. Huge difference. We need to eat the opposite of that. We all should be. Those of you with Hashimoto's and autoimmune diseases, you don't have a choice. You have to, or else you're not going to get better, right? Some people have you know, some wiggle room. Like if you don't have a diagnosed condition and you're 20 years old, like we all were at one point, sure. When I was in college, did I just eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and drink beer and eat pizza? Yes. Could I do that now? I'd be dead. Like so we don't know what we don't know, right? But oh my gosh, huge difference. Huge difference. The traditional Western standard American diet is what's killing this country, is what is fueling chronic illness and chronic disease in this country, which is skyrocketing. Huge, huge difference. Great question, though. Amy's back. All right, what do we got? Do you have your Epstein Barr? Do you have to have your Epstein Barr under control to put hashies into remission? Not necessarily. Um, Not necessarily, but most of the time, most of the time. Um, and again, I kind of weave it in. Not everyone has it. A lot do, but not everyone has it. So that's kind of weaved in as an individual protocol with someone. It's like, okay, I have this homeopathic protocol that I'll weave in to someone's overall protocol over time to deal with the Epstein-Barr. So I wouldn't say 100% of the time, but most of the time, yes. Caitlin, he just laughed so hard. He said, "Oh my God, I love it. He's never heard it called that." I'm assuming you mean Charles. Um, Heard what called what? The standard American diet? Sad? It's sad. It's the standard American diet. I'm assuming that's what you mean. Caitlin, how does alcohol affect someone with Hashimoto's, like even casual drinking? It's huge. Yeah, it's a killer. It destroys the gut. I mean, the sugar swings that you get, most of it's got gluten in it, and it just destroys the gut, which is where we start anyway. We got to fix this stuff. I'm not saying that like down the road when we fix people up, they might not be able to have like an occasional glass of wine or something like that. That's not usually the end of the world, but in the beginning, it's strict, it's out. Amy, what do you get for the $97? Great question. I probably should have elaborated on that. So, so the whole kit and caboodle. So what we do is, okay, uh, we'll have a consultation. That's for sure. So we'll have an in-depth consultation. That's at least 30 minutes usually. Sometimes longer, that's fine. I block off 45, it's 30 to 45 minutes. Prior to that, you can send me all of your previous labs, all of your previous testing. So I'll do a complete case workup, right? So, okay, send me everything you got. Sometimes people have had advanced testing. They've maybe seen some other functional doctors. They've had X, Y, and Z. Maybe they've had some gut testing, whatever you got, send it. Blood work from the last 1 to 2 years, send it. I will review it all. We will meet. We will do an in-depth, we'll do like the first leg of that triangle, basically. So we will meet face to face, just like this. We do them on Zoom. And we will do a complete timeline, a complete health history. I'm going to sit there and shut up and take notes and say, listen, tell me everything from birth if you want to, but definitely from the time that this started until now. And then if you can get me your labs ahead of time or your previous testing ahead of time, that's great. If not, it's fine. We can do it after the fact. But we'll go through your entire case up until today. Kind of again, that first leg of the triangle. Go through everything in detail. And we'll spend all that time together doing that. If I think, hey, I might be able to help you with this then, like we can figure this out, we might be able to do something moving forward. We could do that. I would offer that to you and say, okay, hey, listen, let me put my brain together and let's follow up and let me put together a game plan and we can review what that looks like or not. That's up to you, but um an in-depth consultation case evaluation. Hope that helps answer it. Eileen, what are your thoughts on the carnivore diet? So you're the second person today to ask me about that. Um, I have so so again, personally, I teach an AIP protocol, autoimmune protocol to my patients, which is not carnivore. It's close to it, but it's not carnivore. It does involve some carbohydrates, obviously. Carnivore is all meat, right? That being said, I've had plenty of patients that were like, well, can I do carnivore instead? And I was like, absolutely. Have had plenty of success with that as well. So I personally like to teach an AIP elimination or an AIP protocol. I have zero problem if someone wants to go carnivore and we see how it goes. I'm pretty flexible. It's not like my way or the highway. So I like this protocol because I've had it successful. I've had plenty of patients by choice want to choose to do a carnivore instead. So we do that within the protocol instead of an AIP elimination in the beginning. And we've had just as good a success. So I'm cool with that too. Amy, sorry, I'm skeptical. I went to, hey, look, I get it, Amy. You don't have to apologize. I'm skeptical. I went to a functional chiropractor doctor for my Hashimoto's years ago, and he put me into kidney failure. Look, I don't apologize. I get it. Um, you know, there's a lot of other functional doctors out there who maybe claim they know what they're doing and they don't, or they don't specialize in Hashimoto's. Um, or they pass you off on like a cookie cutter program or health coaches and stuff like that. I don't do those things. I work one-on-one with everybody. My patients get one-on-one access to me. They get a weekly in-person appointments, virtual appointments. They get my cell phone number. They get my email address. Any of my patients who are on here will attest to that. It is really intensive one-on-one work that we do together to ensure that nothing like that ever happens. So I get it, Amy. You don't have to apologize. I live in the world and I know the internet land and social media is like, can be a little snake oil-ish sometimes. So I encourage patients, anyone who knows me or who's anticipating maybe possibly like wanting to work with me, like check me out. I have nothing to hide. I'm like, check my reviews, Facebook group if you're already in there, Amy. If not, cool. YouTube, like I'm out there. I'm not hiding anything and like I am who I am. What you see is what you get with me here. So please investigate me and meet with me and it's got to be the right fit. If it doesn't feel right, then it's not right, you know. Caitlin, is there any herbal teas or tinctures you recommend or otherwise to stay away from? Um, so I mean, herbal teas are fine with my protocols with patients. Like when I run through an AIP protocol with patients, herbal teas are fine as long as they're decaffeinated, but there's not any specifically that I don't recommend. Maybe on an individual basis, but not anything globally. Oh, Amy said thank you. You're welcome, Amy. I think that was probably me replying to your couple of earlier questions. You are very welcome anytime. Eileen, how much will all the labs usually cost? Sounds like they're pretty extensive. So, blood work wise, it's really not as much as you would think, to be honest with you. People are like pleasantly surprised when they're like, "Oh my gosh," because they go to like other functional docs and they're like, "We have to run all these tests and it's like $2,000, $3,000 and but just in tests." And honestly, I've done it 10 ways to Sunday. I've done a million tests, which are $2,000, $3,000. I've done it where I don't do any testing. Like the tests I recommend now are because I found them to be necessary and as cost effective as possible, right? So blood work, if someone has health insurance and the blood work and the health insurance will cover the blood work, we will go that way, right? If we can get something covered by health insurance, we'll do it. Okay. If not, and someone has to, like they don't have health insurance or whatever, or they don't have health insurance that covers it, and we have to pay out of pocket, we can usually get what needs to be done for a couple $100, not $1,000. We can get. I have a panel that I'll recommend that I can, if someone has to pay cash for the blood work, we can get a comprehensive panel, $222. Um, it's amazing what we can get done. I had someone yesterday was like, they needed their antibodies checked. They hadn't been diagnosed. And like to get the two antibodies, thyroglobulin, TPO antibodies checked through Quest, cash price, nationwide labs, it's $17.09. So, but if we need comprehensive stuff, right? We need a lot of stuff. I can have it done for $222 for anybody, cash. That's very reasonable as far as blood work goes. The Dutch test is 300. That's my practitioner pricing. So my patients working with me, they pay $300 if I order the test, have it sent to them, and I get the results. I think retail on that one's like 600. The ancestry test is $99 retail. It's usually on sale. So most of my patients, if they had to pay for blood work and if they had to pay for Dutch tests, if they had to pay full price for ancestry, you're talking 522, you're talking 650, 600 bucks, $650. It doesn't have to be ridiculous to get what we need. Hope that helps. That's like max usually. Now, again, down the road, maybe we need this test, maybe we need that test. That might be additional down the road, but you know, hope that helps. Caitlin, how does gut health affect absorption of thyroid meds? It affects absorption of everything. You're taking it orally. It affects everything. Absorption of meds, absorption of food. Forget about the meds. I mean, the meds are important. If someone needs thyroid replacement, okay, but absorption of the food, absorption of their nutrients, that's what's most important. Is it possible to avoid thyroid meds with this type of program? If somebody's not on them, it's possible for sure. Absolutely. If someone's on them, might, the reason they're put on them is because it's already kind of too late. Their thyroid's not making enough on their own. Even if we fix the Hashimoto's, there just might be too much damage done. But but it is possible to avoid them if someone's not already on them. But gut health is paramount, has to be fixed. Lori is $17 for TPN and ANA. So the 17 bucks, I think it's literally, I ordered this for someone yesterday. It's $17, I think, and 9 cents. That's for the two thyroid antibodies. So that's for TPO antibodies, thyroid peroxidase antibodies, and thyroglobulin antibodies or TG antibodies. So those are the two thyroid antibodies that everybody wants to have run. That's TPO and TG antibodies. That's the two thyroid antibodies. I can order them for a patient at a cash price of $17.09 at Quest, which is nationwide labs. Everyone's got one within a drive. Eileen says thank you. You're welcome, Eileen. You are very welcome. And Lori says thank you. You are very welcome as well, Lori. I love doing these, gang. I love doing these workshops. I'm I'm all in. I hope you guys get that. Like I'm not selling anything. Look, if you want to pay 97 bucks for a case review, I would love to help you. It's just to help kind of cover my time and reserve our spot. Like I'm not, not turning profit on these things. I'm not selling snake oil here or supplements or whatever. Um, and if nobody signs up, that's great. But if you want, I'll offer it here. We can do this. We can do what we talked about today. But I love this. Like this is my life. I'm sitting here at almost 8 o'clock Eastern time. I'm done at the office. All my patients are gone. My family's home hanging out. I'm doing this workshop because I live this, and I'm trying to get to as many of you guys as I can to help you, to help because I know that there's nothing else out there for you, and some of the, especially in the medical world, there's nothing, right? You've never heard this, what we're talking about today in the medical world, and you never will. In the alternative world, like Amy was talking about earlier, it's like I gave this doctor a bunch of money for this program, and it was cookie cutter, and it didn't help me, and it wasn't what I needed. And I don't want to see that happen. That doesn't have to be the result. Susan, how will these are some good ones, Susan. Thank you. Great questions. I love this stuff. In case you guys haven't noticed, I'm not afraid of the hard questions. Like money, what does this cost? And do I have to give up things I love and diet and all that kind of stuff? I'm going to answer these things. How will this program help with sugar cravings? And do I need to give up coffee? Huge. So sugar cravings is the easy part. They actually, once we start implementing a plan, once we get onto the elimination protocol and we start with some of the supplementation to help with regulate blood sugar and inflammation and stuff, it might be a rough couple days, but they actually go away really quick, to be honest with you. Most people are nervous about it and they're scared about it and they're like, "Oh my gosh, how am I gonna do this?" And um and within days they're like, "Okay, I think I'm through it. Like that wasn't too bad. Like I made it." Coffee. Yes. Do I need to give up coffee? So I have my patients eliminate caffeine. So caffeinated coffee is out for the elimination part of the dietary work, which is not forever. It's 30 to 60 days max, let's say. But yes, caffeine is out. Organic decaf coffee, not a problem, but caffeine is out. So the short answer is kind of yes. Again, might be a crappy couple days. We try and time it when it's like, okay, I don't have maybe a whole lot going on in case I got headaches and I don't feel so hot, but you will get through it very quickly within days. Same thing with the sugar. I get it. Everyone's been relying on those as a crutch because I'm fatigued all the time. Like I'm trying to get through the day and I use these things as a crutch, you know? But great question, Susan. It's doable, trust me. And again, that's why like I've been doing this. I can do this with my eyes closed. Like I guide patients and help them through this and how to get through it. You know, it's trust me, it's doable. Amy, is the Dutch test covered by insurance? Sometimes. So you have to pay for it cash. You have to pay the 300 bucks. But the lab that does the Dutch test is called Precision Analytical. They're out of Oregon. They're in McMinnville, Oregon, I think. Precision Analytical is the lab. They do the Dutch test. You got to pay for the test, but they will send you an itemized, with the CPT codes and everything on it, itemized receipt with the codes, with the procedure codes, and then I have to just fill in the diagnosis codes that you can submit to your insurance for reimbursement. I have had I have had patients get reimbursed for that test. Can't guarantee anything, but I have had patients get reimbursed by their insurance for that test. But you got to pay for it initially, and then you got to submit it afterwards. Caitlin, does chocolate count as caffeine? Yes. Chocolate, we eliminate chocolate, even dark chocolate in the beginning. Short answer on that one. Deborah or Deborah. I remember you from earlier today. I hate to say that I love coffee. Look, I love coffee too. It's not a forever thing, but it's an initial thing. Can you substitute mushroom coffees? No, because I have patients also eliminate edible fungi or mushrooms during the elimination. Lori, my husband had DNA a while ago. Is it still accessible? Yeah, 100%. If you've already done one of the DNA tests, um, like an ancestry already or a 23andMe. So so your question, my husband had a DNA a while ago. Is it still accessible for information? Not sure if it was ancestry or 23andMe. Yes. If someone gets to me and they've already done the test, like an ancestry or 23andMe, you do not need to do it again. Your DNA has not changed since you were conceived. It will never change. The expression of it may change, but the actual blueprint hasn't changed. So there's no need to redo it again. You can log into your account and still download the data, even if it was 10 years ago. So yes, that's doable. Susan, do you use food as medicine? I do not like to take a lot of supplements. 100%. Yes. The goal is if we can use food, let's use food. I am very minimalistic with my supplements. We want them very targeted. We want maybe there's a couple things we need to stay on for long term, but many things we want to get in, fix stuff, and get out. So spot on, Susan. Yes, that's the goal. Food as medicine. You beat me to the punch. I use that term all the time. Supplements are a necessary evil. We need them to be as minimal as possible. Caitlin, frowny face. We'll get you through it. Don't worry about it. Deborah. LOL. It's pronounced Deborah. Sorry, I've been doing that all day today on you. Deborah, got it. I thought it was. I think initially today when I said your name for the first time, I said Deborah. But then when I saw the spelling, I was like, oh, maybe it's Deborah. And I've actually had patients, a lot of patients over the years, that spell it Deborah with an H, excuse me, and pronounce it Deborah. So I'm sensitive to it. I get it. You're talking to a Benedetto. It gets mispronounced, it gets misspelled all the time. I get it. Sorry, let me get some water. Deborah. Got it. I won't forget. Amy, I AIP'd. I'm assuming that means you did like a elimination diet 10 years ago and now paleo. Do I need to start over with the AIP again? Yeah. Yeah, I start, especially if it was 10 years ago. I start everyone fresh. We got to reset. We got to clean the slate. We got to reset, like it's a calculator. You got to zero it out, you know? And so we can start fresh. and I have everyone eliminate because then we got to go and clean stuff too. We got to clean up the gut, we got to decrease the inflammation, clean up the liver. We got to do all that stuff. So, yes, short answer is yes, we would do it again. If someone gets to me and they're like, "Oh, I did it a year ago," I'm like, "We're going to do it again, at least for 30 days." Deborah, no worries. My father called me Deborah. I do that with my son. So my son's name, so we have three, and they're all teenagers. Our oldest is 17, almost 18. He's a senior in high school, and his name is Frank. And my wife and I are a little old school. If you haven't figured, we named our firstborn and our oldest son Frank. No one names their kid Frank anymore. Um, and I don't call him. I sure we call him Frank, but since forever I've been calling him Franco. I don't know why. I just put an O at the end. So it's like you're like Deborah. I'm like Franco. Like, I don't know why, but that's just the way it happened. Um, but good stuff. That's where it all starts, right? It all starts when we're young, and if it's our parents that call us that. Susan, one last question rolling in. What type of guarantee do you provide? Also an excellent question, and I will answer it. I provide zero guarantee on your results. It's medicine. It's there are no guarantees in life, right? There's no guarantees in medicine, right? I'm not legally allowed to guarantee a result or an outcome. No doctor is. Here's what I will guarantee. And anybody who's on here or is watching this or is a patient of mine watching this or on here, I would hope would vouch for this. The one thing I guarantee to all of my patients is I will give you everything I have, all of my knowledge, all of my effort, all of my clinical expertise, all of my experience to figure you out and get you better. Can I guarantee you're going to get better? No, I don't have the magic ball or the crystal ball and or the magic wand. Um, so I can't guarantee anything. What I can guarantee is you're not going to find anyone who probably has the experience and with this condition that I do, and that's going to work harder for you to figure out what's wrong and to continue working until it's done. I tell my patients all the time, I say, listen, when we get started on this 90 days to Hashimoto's healing, that's not a hard gap. Like there's no like 91 days we're done. This isn't a program that you do. You guys have done this stuff. I get it. Like you like, oh, there's this 6 month program, and when 6 months is up, we're done. And if you want more, you got to keep paying. It's not the way it works with me. So there's no hard cap. I like to give people a reasonable expectation of how long it takes to do all the stuff that I just mapped out. But I'm going to stay with someone and continue to work with them until we get to their goals and until we get them better. If that takes longer than 90 days, that's fine. I'm going to keep doing it, and there's not going to be any additional charges until we get them fixed, right? So that's not the way it works with me. So I don't know if that was the answer to your question, Susan, but that's my honest answer. Um, I wish I could guarantee. I can't. I I couldn't guarantee results if I wanted to because it's illegal in healthcare. Um, and number two, I just wouldn't do it because there's so many unknowns. And the one thing I guarantee to my patients is you're probably going to be hard pressed to find someone who's done this longer and more than I have and has more experience doing it. And nobody's going to work harder to get you there. I mean, I give my patients my personal cell phone number for gosh sakes. Like, and they can message me after hours, weekends. I don't care. Like, who does that? Nobody does that. And I don't say that to be like, hey, look, I'm the best ever. But like, I hope my patients understand, look, I'm all in for you. If you're all in, I'm all in for you too. Let's do this. Let's get you fixed. Susan, yes, it answers my question. Thank you. I told you I got long-winded answers. Sorry. It's the old what's the you guys remember Tommy Boy, the movie Tommy Boy from the 90s? I'm sure most of you are old enough to remember. I don't want to assume, but um what a great movie. Like we watched it with our kids because our kids had never seen it. Maybe like a month ago we watched it again. I hadn't seen the movie since it came out, probably 30 years, right? I was like, man, what a funny movie. It's a shame Chris Farley passed away, but um the one guy he's trying to sell to, he's like, but there's no guarantee on the box. I want a guarantee. Like it makes a man feel safe at night if he's got a guarantee on the parts. And he's like, well, we personally guarantee. He's like, but it's not on the box. And Tommy Boy's like, look, if you want me to crap in a box and mark it guaranteed, I will. But a guarantee is only as good as the person who writes it, right? That was his kind of take home message. So, um, Tommy Boy, if you haven't seen it in a while, go back and watch it. I forgot how good it was. It's good. It's a good one. Uh, Caitlin, yes. Deborah, yes. Susan, love Tommy Boy. I honestly like, you know, I grew up in the 80s. I've seen it. I saw it in the 90s, right? I loved it. It was a great movie. I hadn't seen it since I couldn't tell you the last time I watched it. And we were like one Friday night, we are like laying around the house and our teenage daughters there, and I was like, let's watch a good movie. And we're like scrolling through the Netflix or the Amazon or whatever. And Tommy Boy, I'm like, we gotta watch Tommy Boy. And I hadn't seen it in forever. They had never seen it. They actually liked it. My wife and I were dying. We were like, I forgot how good this movie was. It's such a good movie. But I really hadn't seen it in forever. Our favorite part is like when he's like trying to when he lights the car on fire on the guy's desk. That's the best part, right? When he's like, "Pew, here comes the meat wagon." He's like, the guy's in the corner smoking a cigar, going, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "That's the best one." And he's like, "Get out!" I'm dying. So many good one-liners too. David Spade had so many good one-liners. But anyway, um, yeah, he's right, right? Like, look, if you want me to take a crap in a box and mark it guaranteed, I will. But that doesn't really mean anything unless the person who's guaranteeing it is not holding up their end of the bargain, you know? And I know other programs do it, money back guarantees, money, they're doing that because they're just trying to sell people something. Um, you know, I don't want people's money for nothing. Like, sure, I like to be reimbursed for my services and I charge fees, but I think they're very reasonable and I offer all kinds of payment options and all kinds of stuff. But, um, you know, it's got to be worth it. It's got to be worthwhile. And by the time I'm done, patients are done with me, I want them to be saying, man, I would have paid 10 times what you charged me for the result I got. That's the goal, is for figuring this out, getting me relief from my symptoms, getting me figured out, getting me healed up, getting me to remission, and I can live a healthy, um, satisfied life. That's the goal. Anonymous attendee. Well, I didn't even know you could join anonymously. What about people trying to get pregnant? Can you help with your protocol with that? 100%. I know Hashimoto's can affect the ability to get pregnant. 100%. So yes, my protocols are very pregnant um, favorable. If someone, yes. So a big problem with Hashimoto's could be infertility, for sure. I've had plenty of patients get to me. We run them through a protocol. Voila, they get pregnant. Is it guaranteed? No, but I've had it happen many, many times. I joke around with them all the time. I'm like, look, if you have a boy, you can name it Ray. Nobody has done that yet. And, but yes, 100%. Many women have difficulty, and men, like couples, have difficulty with infertility, and the Hashimoto's is the roadblock. So remove the roadblock, and then they can get pregnant. Or they've already had kids, they want more, but now they're having trouble because of the Hashimoto's, like that kind of thing. Or they get pregnant during protocols. We can deal with all that stuff. Great question. Caitlin, how many of your patients need to eliminate gluten? Pretty much all. We definitely start with it. The big three food wise for most patients for life is gluten, dairy, that's cow's milk, and soy. Don't shoot the messenger. That's just the way it is. Gluten, dairy, and soy do not get along well with thyroids in general and with autoimmune disease. So, but there are worse things in life than having to give up gluten, especially when it's like, I keep it out, I'm healthy. I eat it, doesn't go well. It's not worth it, you know? So one thing, I try and help kind of reframe things for patients to be like, oh, I can't eat that food anymore. I'm like, yeah, but not eating that food keeps you healthy. And here's the cool thing. You have 100% control over what goes in your pie hole. So if you're like, oh, if I just don't put that thing in my mouth, I can stay healthy, you are empowered because you have control over that. Lori, is the pregnancy on the female and male side? Well, it could, yeah. I mean, if mom has Hashimoto's, a lot of times, like it's just mom's body is not allowing this to happen. Even though like mom and dad have both been tested, right? Like husband and wife have been tested. Like mom's eggs are good, dad's sperm's good. Like there's no reason this isn't happening. It's just mom's body, which is the environment that is going to grow this human, is not optimal to do that. So the body's going to say, no, we can't do this right now. I like to think of it almost as like God being like, you know, like we take this egg from a chicken and we got to incubate it. Like the incubator's not equipped. Mom is not healthy enough to get pregnant, conceive, get pregnant, and get a healthy child. So get mom healthy before we do that. That's the way I look at it. Amy Lee, sourdough bread? Question mark. I have my patients cut out all grains in the beginning during the elimination phase. All grains, including sourdoughs. Maybe down the road, we'll see. If it's gluten free. I know the sourdough thing. I have my patients take it out initially and usually have them keep it out. Lori, I had pregnancy issues. Dad may have Hashimoto's. I'm worried about Caitlin. Oh, I gotcha. So you had issues getting pregnant. Yes, I figured that out, Caitlin. Thank you. So Lori is my mom. I kind of figured that. Um, oh, I can't wait to meet Lori then too. I think we're gonna have some fun together. Um, gotcha. So, so you, yeah. So either one, I mean, either parent, but usually it's mom. But if either parent or both have thyroid issues or Hashimoto's, then yeah, big time, big time. Don't worry about Caitlin. She's with me now. We'll get her fixed. Amy, thumbs up. I love it. Hopefully it's been helpful. I'm hoping that means this is helpful. So that's good. That this workshop today. Lori, correct. Got it. Deborah, I suppose gluten is gluten. And what I mean is I see this wonderful ancient flowers from Italy that are not grown like it was before contaminants, maybe like sourdoughs. So, again, case by case deal. Gluten in this country is is gluten. Yeah. Have I had patients who stay off it, like they're off it, and then they go to like Italy or Europe or something, and they can eat a little bit of it and not have any issues? Yes. Okay, in that case, can we maybe tempt fate a little bit? Yes, but it's still not something it in any form, definitely in this country. Um, Better chance of it in other countries if you're using like traditional grains. Um, it just causes leaky gut, like it destroys the gut. That's the issue. But in this country, it's pretty much out because it's been just bastardized. Pardon my French. Lori, LOL. Susan, do you recommend on this program specific exercises, walking, weight training? Yeah, everyone's different, but um, ideally, yes, we want to get doing some exercise. Resistance exercise is the best. I love interval training with my patients, but everyone's starting at a different place and everyone's going to end up at a different place from an exercise standpoint. But yeah, we definitely want to get people exercising within their capabilities, within their preferences, and what's going to work best for their metabolism or their body. Amy, yes. Deborah, I get it. Thanks. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're spot on. Like I said, I've had patients who in this country forget it. But I've had them like, oh, I went to Italy and they came back and they were like, yeah, I tried a little bit, but I was okay. Like, not too bad. I was like, all right, good. Now let's get back on the horse now that we're back in the US. Caitlin, have you seen a big difference in GMO versus the organic counterparts? Yeah, that's why, like in the elimination dietary phase, foods that are being eaten, we want them to be clean, right? Organic fruits and vegetables, clean sourced poultry, grass-fed, grass-finished beef, wild caught fish, that kind of stuff. Huge because we're taking out dietary and environmental toxins. So yeah, it's huge, and it's what we'll be doing. Amy, yoga. Yes. Yes. I want patients doing whatever works best for them. Again, it's going to be different for each person, but but I'm always meeting my patients where they're at. It's not like you need to do this because I say so. We need to take this framework of a plan and mold you like you into it and your life into it. And if it's like yoga, awesome, great, keep doing that. We get you better. You want to start working in some resistance training? Cool. Let's talk about that. Let's work that in. Um, Keep it up though, Amy. I just want my patients doing something. Just walk. Get out there and walk if you can. Get your 10,000 steps a day. We always got to like kind of meet where someone's at, and then we go on from there and we build a plan for them. Caitlin, awesome. Thanks. You are very welcome, Caitlin. You'll get sick of me after a while. Don't worry, Caitlin. That's my goal. My goal is for patients to get sick of me, sick of hearing my voice and hearing these things over and over and over again, but they get better. They're better, but they're sick of me. That's okay. Amy says, thank you with a smiley face. You are very welcome, Amy. I hope that the time you have spent today here doing all of this has been valuable. That's my goal. Like I said, I don't want to sit here and babble on, give you testimonials and sell you stuff and not give you any meat and potatoes, right? We cut out potatoes too. They're nightshades, but no meat and veg. I want you to get straight content, get the help that you need, get the answers you need, and I'm not here to sell stuff. Okay. Caitlin, if you can heal me, I will never be sick of you. That's a deal. You got a deal, Caitlin. And then someday, if you have a boy, I mean, you can name him Ray. I'm joking. I'm joking. It hasn't happened yet, but I like to needle my patients about that one. I'm like, Mom, you couldn't get pregnant. We fixed the Hashimoto's. You got pregnant. What's wrong with Ray? Not yet. It hasn't happened, but Amy, it has. Thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I am I am I'm thankful that I was able to provide some good value to you tonight, Amy. Thank you. That's my goal. Caitlin says, you got it. It's a deal. Lori says, Mom approves. Mom, come hang out with us sometimes. Well, I have an appointment with Caitlin and she can forward you the link and you can come hang out with us during our weekly appointments together. Deborah, I like your style. Thanks for your honesty. Hey, look, what you see is what you get with me. Um, so I live it. I'm here. I guess my style is just me. But you know, I'm not here selling stuff. I hope that it comes through that like that I'm here to help people, and I am. And like I said, my wife has this. Like we live this. That's the whole reason we are here tonight, and that I do the things I do. And I've been here in my office now over 12 hours today, seeing patients, doing this workshop. It's because it is the mission. It is my ministry. I am here. I firmly believe that I've been put here on this planet at this point to help people with this condition that have no other help for them. And I've been given the gifts and I've been given the experience and I've been given the talents um, through a lot of hard work to get good at helping people with Hashimoto's. And that's what I'm here to do. So, um, thank you everyone for being here. And you're welcome, Lori. And I hope this was helpful. And I will send out the replay tomorrow. I'm gonna go home tonight, probably crash on the floor in the living room. So, I can't do that. My daughter has volleyball practice. I got to pick her up at 9:30 p.m. So after that, I'm gonna crash. I will get out the replay to everyone tomorrow. Thank you everyone for being here. I hope this was helpful. And if you guys need me for anything, message me questions. I'm always here for you. If you want to set up a case review and let's get to work on your case, check out that link, scan the QR code, sign up. Let's do it. Um, and let's get you a personalized Hashimoto's plan and get you fixed um, with your specific plan. Let's talk about what that looks like if you want. If not, that's cool. I'll be here to help you in any way that I can. Stay tuned. I'm going to keep these workshops coming, all different topics. I do this one a lot because a lot of people need to hear this. But thank you everyone for being here. Have a wonderful evening. I feel blessed to have been able to present this to everyone tonight. If you have any questions, let me know. You need me, let me know. Um, Everyone have a wonderful evening. Have a great weekend. Stay warm If you're in the northern half of the United States, I guess maybe the whole United States. But be safe, be warm. You need any questions? You have any questions? You need any help? Let me know. You want to set up your case review? Go ahead and do it. I'll send out the replay tomorrow. All right, gang. Thanks. Everyone have a good night.